I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say just starts to...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious.
I hope I can help. Necromancy may be legal in Cyrodiil, but few will openly admit to practicing it now that the Mages Guild has banned it. Farewell.
May you rest in peace.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring. The one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter rage!
Leave them to me. I have you not. All too easy.
What?
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith number 31. As always, is your host, me, Fractured Filter, and with me, as always, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, so pumped, so excited. We should rank our favorite entrance clips because there's a lot and they just seem to get better and better each week, so good on you for doing those. I still am a fan of the Macho Man one. Probably might be my favorite.
I was contemplating. I was like, should I click on that one? I've been playing it an awful lot. Screw it. Yeah, what the hell? You can't go wrong with a Macho promo mixed in of him banting on Vader there.
Reminiscent of a bygone era.
Absolutely. All right. Well, so where do we start? Where does
I was going to say there's so much.
Tonight?
Well, do we want to? I have to just be be frank. I was I think I'm now coming to the point where I share your feelings on Bad Batch and just how really bad this is. For somebody who had originally watched it first and did it, and then coming back and watching it again, it's just really, I think it might be just worse than the first time, if that makes any sense, and if that's even possible.
That was kind of so. That was basically what I started doing after I first watched Force Awakens. It's like the first time I was like, it is what it is. It's okay. I was trying to hype myself up, like, this is good. But then there's always those nagging things in the background. Especially the one thing that before I even went to see it, my buddy Das Mordo, he's like, look for it. Tell me if you see it.
Yeah.
And it was the mind trick scene, which was just and I once I saw that, I'm like, oh. But I watched it the first time, like I said, okay, whatever. But then I was like, okay, let's see this one more. Let's see this again. And then it was just like all the extra little problems started sticking out. And it was like after some multiple viewings, it just got progressively worse and worse. And my opinion of it just sank lower and lower. I mean, it was already a low bar, but it just like kept going further and further. I'm just like, oh, good God.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from with that, where you could feel like where it just is getting worse as with multiple viewings.
Well, on a positive, well, it's not really a positive note. I thought this would be kind of fun to talk about because I got into it with somebody at work last night as I was trying to leave this place. And I don't know, I'm pretty positive this kid was just trying to poke the bear, or maybe believes it. But we got onto the subject of how like there's now two canons, and because Disney now owns everything that Lucas established is no longer canon and Legends and all this and that. And I took the stance of like, well, I'll just come out and be frank. I said, you're an idiot if you're going to sit there and say there's two canons. I probably should not have said, I know it's a kid's show, family show, but I literally probably called him an idiot in the course of like seven seconds. He just argued. He's like, well, his viewpoint was, and I'm pretty sure he's just, like I said, poking the bear, but his viewpoint was like, well, Disney bought it. Disney basically took everything Lucas created and made it Legends, which is true. But his point was,
they bought it. They kicked all the Legends material to the curb. They took his treatments and promises that they were going to treat the material with respect and everything, and basically wipe their asses with any of those promises, any of the treatments that he gave them, and they thoroughly shit on all of that.
Yeah, but he just says it was just interesting because he's like, well, there's basically was like George Lucas's, like, the original canon is no longer canon, so like it's erased, and now everything that Disney is now doing is the canon. And I was like you're an idiot. Like there's not two canons. Like you can.
There was George Lucas's canon, and now there's Disney's canon. There's a separation between the two. It just means that George Lucas's canon, yes, it stopped because there's going to be sadly no continuation of those stories, of those characters. The way, for one, Luke and the Jedi Order were set up, all that sort of stuff. That's sadly in its time capsule, so to speak. But at least then it also means it can't be messed with, and it's there to always enjoy.
Well,
the mouse will continue to be the mouse, and use Star Wars like a skin suit and try to mimic it in whatever ways they can, but ultimately will be failing in that.
Just want to preface this by this was a good 15-minute I wasn't disrespectful. Ish. Just
Other
it
than
was like
calling
just
them
a
an idiot.
yeah, well, it was done with love. A little bit of love, but no, it's just so funny because like this is a tired old argument that everybody, all the Disney shows, and everybody says like what George Lucas created basically is not canon, and what Disney has now created is the new canon, and it's like you can't have both. There's no two canons. Like there's either canon and then what you like. What Disney's, at least from my viewpoint, there's the canon, there's what Disney's created, and that's
they
it.
love from a certain point of view. So from a certain point of view, George Lucas's canon still exists. It's still a thing. It's out there. You can find it. You can read it. You can watch it. You can listen to it and enjoy it.
He had the audacity, and this is where I think in the point of the conversation after calling him just yelling. At the top
I
of my lungs.
can believe that too. I can believe
like
that.
I'm not joking. You could probably go back and watch video camera, like me literally with no audio, just seeing my just like motion
your
toward like
flailing arms.
Like karate chopping the air towards this guy. But he asked me, he's like, "What's your how did you like Rogue One?" And this is where like I think I've mentioned this on the show. Like you were never there with me. You leave me in a ditch, dying, trying to defend myself with all these like cockroaches.
Hey, you got to learn to stick up for yourself, man.
I know, it's fine, but it's like I'm like fighting. It's like fighting 30 people. No, it was funny because he's like, "Whoa, did you like Rogue One?" And I was like, I just lost and I channeled, and I channeled my inner Bane and partially Malgus, and then I was like. I was explaining to him, I was like, you understand? I was like, no, and I just, the Kyle Katarn and the Jan Ors came out, and I was just like, karate chop in the air, and just, oh, God, yeah. I get so, like, I was just like, no, these shysters, it's just a rip on Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors, and they're so lazy that they just add an O to the end of Jan Or's name and create Orzo. It's
Jan
like
Urso
Joe Urso or whatever, it's just so
Jan Ors is like, Jesus, are you kidding me?
And then that turned into like, well, they would never retcon the original trilogy. I'm like, they already have. I was like, they already have.
They already have with the Kenobi show.
That's exactly what I brought up. He's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're a princess or a young prince, and somebody who was called this name, but then you find out his real name saves you when you're a child through a traumatic experience. Would you not remember this person when 19 years old, sending a message out for help, right? And then, but this is what I love. I love how the Disney fans, they always say, well, she didn't implicitly state that she didn't know Obi-Wan. And this is like. I know.
No point.
See, this is why. No, just say it because this is literally this was my life last night while you were gone.
Just very much. You watch the scene of her delivering that message. You listen to her. She is not talking with any level of familiarity. In fact, it's almost rather businesslike to some degree. Yeah, there's some friendliness because of her father and stuff like that, but there's no deeper connection that you can get an idea of that she knows Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan, that she has any idea who this is, or that he was the one that saved her as a child.
Yeah,
there's none of that. So I'm just thinking, it's like, man, as much as we try to get away from Kenobi keeps coming back at us.
I want to be done with it. I just want to be done with it. And this is at 11:45 last night, as I'm just trying to go home and escape this utter dualishness conversation. And then he's like, "Well, what was the big deal about Qui-Gon?" And I'm like, "Bro, now you're just asking questions just to get under my skin." And then I went in and I explained the importance of Qui-Gon, and he's like, "Well, what about Darth Maul?" And then I just lost it because at this point of the conversation, then Filoni came into the conversation, and then Ahsoka came in, and it was just just really listen.
Evolved from there.
Listen, I am not just saying this on the show. Like this literally happened. You can I will give you the person I was with. Like this literally, like my neck.
Type it into the private chat.
Oh yeah. I was literally like my voice was very sore. Stand by, but yeah, and then I don't know. Oh God, it's just bad. It's just bad. But I basically I didn't say he was. I didn't bring up the as much as I wanted.
2 people or
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I haven't talked to either of them about Star Wars.
well, but here's the thing, and then the one kid was like, "Well, no, like I agree with you. I'm just saying, like it's no longer canon. You know, it's like sorry, buddy." And I'm like,
it's the I hate to say it, but they're kind of right about that, just in the sense of it's not getting the continued support and continuation of storylines and stuff like that. Like I said, it's been basically put into a time capsule and now is staying there until people want to find it, read it, discover it, and all that sort of stuff. So it's unfortunate, but I also will look at it as there are 2 separate canons. There's Lucas side, which was before the Disney buyout, and then now there's the Mouse's canon, which is when they bought it out and have been playing Dr. Frankenstein with it, trying to piece it together for this monstrosity that they've been shambling before us. So,
well, and that's where I'd say you have Disney canon, and then you just have Disney crap.
Yeah, basically.
But it's interesting, even though like if this guy's obviously trying to get under my skin. It's just interesting that it's the same argument though. It's the same argument,
right?
That the Disney shills will bring to the table. Don't you besmirch Ahsoka's name? You besmirch her name again, I'm gonna rip your head off.
Well, it's pretty easy to besmirch when she's got nothing to her name.
Yeah.
Other than being Filoni's pet.
I did mention the fact last night. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for it, but I said Filoni wants to be. I said Filoni wants to be Ahsoka. So, and listen, this is it. Listen, I solely base this comment off the fact that I witnessed an interview with Filoni fanboying over Ahsoka.
Well, yeah,
where
it was his little creation.
Where you could tell that he
might be a little unhealthy.
A wee bit. You know, just like how like when you talk about Ahsoka, like you see that like the Palpatine smile, you know,
God.
Or more so like I guess the Grinch smile, you know, the Jim Carrey version. Like it's like that's
right.
not that's a bit creepy, guy. Like
it's not healthy, bro. Not healthy.
Nah, dude. So. I'm gonna start wearing a GoPro, I think, and then I'll like edit out certain things, but like just like a day in the life of J Hitman 187 having to deal with Disney people. And we'll like play it. We'll stream
certainly
it.
encounter them much more than I do.
Well, I think you're more diplomatic, maybe, and I'm just like, you're very.
Yeah.
How would I say? You're very much. I think you're more Bane. Where you're a little bit more eloquent with your words, and I'm more
compliment.
I'm more like Malgus, to where like I don't like no F's are given, and
now you're being really nice because I'll say I'm an inarticulate dumbass sometimes.
No,
you're the most basic language there is, but I mean I've been called cynical and stuff like that.
You're not. No. No, you're very Bane, and I'm Malgus. Like, you know, and I just want to, you know, like I said, I'll just rip somebody's head off, and that's fine. Maybe I should have been a Juggernaut instead of a sorcerer. Maybe I should change it now. But yeah, so there's no patience. Peace is a lie.
You are definitely much more of the aggro Sith for sure.
but this happens to me because I get it. It's like so funny, not funny, because I have to deal with people who think Mandalore is not a title, and maybe it's a planet, but Boba wasn't Mandalore
Never mind, yeah.
when he was. But this is, and then I say like, then I have to deal with people who think Bo-Katan is the greatest Mandalore that's ever been Mandalore. And I'm like, this, like, I'm not joking. This is like what I have to deal with. These are the conversations that I have to deal with.
I'm so sorry.
Like, to just let's just take a second and listen to what I just said. Bo-Katan is the greatest Mandalore that's ever been Mandalore.
Oh, yeah, that's sad. That's really sad.
I wish I could make this up. Like it's almost as like it's like, you know, Michael Caine telling a story about how he went to a party. He was in a party. I think they were in, like, I don't know, doing a movie in Venezuela. I may have the area wrong, but he was like, one of the housemaids, you know, called him over, and she was like, "Why?" He's like, "Are you a drug dealer?" He's like, "No." Why? He's like, "Why is the guy saying my cocaine?" You know, and it's like, and he was on the Graham Norton show on the BBC, and he's like, I can't make it up. Like, you know, thought I was a drug dealer. They thought, yeah.
Is it a Michael Caine?
The guy looked at Michael Caine and was like, Michael Caine, and motioned him over, and the housemaid heard the guy say that. And he's like, why did he say Michael Caine? You know, it's just so, it's funny yet so stupid because, you know, you can't make it up.
I hear you. Oh boy.
So that was my little night of entertainment.
Anecdote for
yeah. I think that's pretty
like
much
I say,
it.
I mean,
he did bring up Andor, which was funny. He did bring up Andor. He asked me if I was excited for Andor. I told him that I'd rather eat nails and watch paint on my house dry.
I mean, we'll certainly get into that in a little bit, but it's just like it. I'm just of the opinion. It's like, this is A, unnecessary. B, as a character, I didn't really see as anybody really shouting at the rooftop.
Oh, because it's a rip off Kyle,
and it's like, yeah, he's a rip off Kyle Katarn, or kind of Jan Ors, considering he's the one that recruited all the names, recruits Jin into the rebellion and crap like that. So there's a lot of weirdness going on for sure. But it's just like, again, with these goofy prequel shows and stuff, where it's like, but we know that, especially with Andor, he's gonna get blown up anyway. So
yeah.
I didn't find him that interesting through Rogue One. He was kind of bland to me, and I mean the droid he was more entertaining and stuff than he was. I mean the only thing that they gave kind of a look into was Rebellion having their more dark, I hate to say dark side operatives, but just more the operatives that were maybe getting their hands a little dirtier than what they were presented as through, you know, the original trilogy. But it's like, I could already go back and, you know, go through the Dark Forces stuff, play the old game, go through the old books and stuff. It's like, okay, I'll get that fill one way or another.
It was just a lot of people are talking about, like, it hasn't even come out yet, and everybody, like, every time I get on Twitter, like, everybody that I follow has at least covered it, and it's like it's not even out yet.
I guess I've just been avoiding it. I just haven't really noticed a whole lot of the chit chat for that. I've been seeing a lot of the chatter for other things, particularly the whole Rippaverse stuff. So yeah, Andor has been kind of over my head or under my radar or whatever. And I just been also just like, you know, since we now gotten KOTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic, gotten our characters going, I'm like, just been more like, yeah, I want to do that. I want us to be playing some more and doing that, because I had fun with us getting our characters rolling. So, I mean, that's where I've kind of been. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to. I just feel like we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So
Yeah.
I don't know to figure out if we're doing Andor or not.
For some positive, or just at least some rumors and stuff like that, or teases. I did want to talk about this really quick. So over here on Niche Gamer, Nightdive Studio teases potential Star Wars Dark Forces remaster. That's definitely something I would certainly like to see, especially with getting Dark Forces onto more modern systems. Even though there is already a, you get a copy of the game on GOG.com, and they've basically made a lot of old games playable on newer systems. And of course, it's DRM free and stuff like that, so that's always a good thing. But Nightdive, yeah. So it's gonna go because this is a shorty. I just want to pop off really quick with. They said here we recently reported that Nightdive Studios teased that they had more remasters of classic '90s shooters, and they've already done a remaster / port to newer systems of of the original System Shock. They're also working on a full I hate to say remake, but it's like a remaster. It's definitely, I guess, in the veins of a remake because it's going more into the 3D realm versus the way the original game was kind of set up, and redoing all the levels and all that. So, I have a lot to say on that at some point, but not right now. But they also did Turok, which was one of my favorite shooters from the old days on the N64. Good God, so much fun and hilarity out of that alone. But this I'm definitely interested to see what they'll do. So they say there wasn't much to go on, but now it seems that we might be getting a classic Star Wars game remaster. Now it seems that it's time for some more teasing, as CEO Stephen Kick posted an image of him playing Dark Forces, but on a 4x3 monitor, while he could simply just be enjoying a classic in his free time. It's also possible this may be a hint of what we had been saying just a week prior, as Dark Forces was one of the games shown in the original tease. Nightdive Studios has already remastered other classic games from the same era, such as Turok, System Shock, and Quake. I didn't know they did Quake.
I didn't either.
Interesting. With some rumors of Quake 2 remaster also supposedly coming soon. If they manage to put out also for Quake 2 the soundtrack, especially like some of the intro stuff that I've heard, like separated from the game, would be really cool. Even if Star Wars Dark Forces is a game they're working on, Kick did say a few when teasing about their future projects. Assuming that he is hinting in this tweet, what do you think of the choice? Is Star Wars Dark Forces a great title that should get the Nightdive Studios remastered treatment, or was there another game you thought deserved it more? I think it was one of the if they get the opportunity to go through some of the old catalog of games to do this for Star Wars games, absolutely, I think it'd be fantastic. Because they did a great job with Turok. They did Turok 2, and I don't know if they were also working on Turok 3 or had released that, but just from Turok alone was fantastic. So if they managed sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna just to touch on this real quick. So I never played Dark Forces, but you've played Dark Forces, Academy, and Outcast, right? How would you rank those three?
I've played a little bit of Dark Forces 1. I've played more of Dark Forces 2. Jedi Knight. And then the funny thing is that especially going from Dark Forces 1 and 2, they are strictly first-person shooter style games. While as when you get to Outcast, you do have the option, even before you get the lightsaber, of being third person, and then you can switch between first and third. But they feel like different games.
Do they?
To some degree, especially because Jedi Outcast, it was starting to also add some of the kind of, I guess the best way to say it would be the kind of parkour movements where you can kind of run up the side of the wall and jump off and stuff like that. You didn't quite have that same mobility in the Dark Forces 2 game. It was still very kind of, linear. You kind of had like force jump and stuff like that, if I recall correctly. It's been a while. But a lot of the force powers and stuff were a lot more direct, and it just didn't give you this, like I said, just kind of the same mobility that Jedi Outcast and especially Jedi Academy brought to the table for combat and stuff like that. So, and then Dark Forces 1 was a strictly first-person shooter, and that was all you were doing. No Jedi time. So, I think kind of like the very beginning of Jedi Outcast, where you get your lightsaber.
Hopefully they remake this, because I wasn't able to play Dark Forces.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of like mod projects that have sparked up around remaking or remastering Dark Forces, but sadly none of them have lived to see the real completion or much to go on, which has been unfortunate.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because
people lose? I mean, it's either because real life gets in the way. It's a passion it maybe starts out as a passion project, but again, life gets in the way. They don't get to complete it. Any assortment of things happen, and unfortunately, like it is, they'd be doing it on their own free time. Depends on how much free time they get to be able to do it. So
yeah, that's true. Wonder if Disney's blocking them somehow.
No,
conspiring.
For a lot of the times, these games, when it's come to Star Wars games, there's not been the issue of like the cease and desist letters that get sent out by the likes of like Nintendo and Square Enix and stuff like that. Those companies have always been really hardcore on shutting down a lot of fan projects. LucasArts, Lucasfilm, not terribly lot.
Yeah.
I can mostly say from at least the old days, I haven't been following up on a lot of newer stuff to know if that's still a thing, or if like since last I knew the whole LucasArts side was under like EA, then they lost I think eventually the exclusivity of being able to make the Star Wars games, and now it's up to anybody can get the opportunity to make them. But they weren't, as far as I'm aware, they weren't sending out cease and desist for like mod projects and stuff like that, especially for the fact that people have been modding their Battlefront 2 and getting in some crazy looking models for that game. So yeah,
I hope they do this, because I think it'd be really, really a fun game to play.
I would love it.
Well, it's not like, so they just remod it. They're not gonna like remaster it per se.
They're not gonna they're not gonna remake it. They're just gonna remaster it, which is just basically updating textures, updating like it was the widescreen capabilities or not. Just kind of making it a little easier to play with mouse and keyboard, because that was on the old DOS days and stuff. So the key controls and stuff were a lot more limited, especially for like up and down, left and right kind of movements. Is a little more locked into place. So it'd be pretty nice to have that freedom and mobility to really get that full like aim capability, especially because this is kind of like a I hate to say auto aim, but you just had to kind of get that direct line of sight and then be able to take out your opponents.
Yeah.
Oh.
That'll be fun. Hopefully they'll be able to do it, because I'd be first in line to download it now that I have my gaming computer.
Now that you got your computer going?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, Here's something that I haven't watched yet. I don't know if you. I don't know if you said you did.
Is the one I sent you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we'll get in trouble.
Even though YouTube kind of shows my bar that was just for me clicking on it. So I've not actually watched it. YouTube's a lying whore.
Yeah, it's not long.
No, it's just a minute 15.
But it's, I just love Unreal Engine. I think that it's just such an amazing.
I'm curious to see how this will be. All right, let's take a look.
Jedi. Sith. To them, it's all the same. You're new, right? No previous service. No real record outside a few smuggling charges. I'm not. Who are you again? Trask Olgo. Ensign with the Republic fleet.
They are gone. Alone. They must have slipped by on patrols.
Sir, the spire is falling apart. We need to leave.
Not yet. Not while anyone else is left on board.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
I gotta say that was pretty cool. I just this shot here. I just gotta just seeing the Sith trooper armor. I really like how they got it looking in this shot for one.
Yeah.
And just how good it looks.
Just the blood and.
I mean, just like kind of seeing. I don't know if it's supposed to be like kind of like a leathered look or something.
Yeah.
Leathery or just kind of the cloth. And it amazingly, like, sometimes depending on, at least in Star Wars: The Old Republic, they do have the Sith Trooper armor that you can get. But sometimes it looks a little cheesy. Sometimes having it in that game, but
yeah,
I gotta say, they did a really good job of actually making it look like some great looking armor.
Yeah. It really looks good. And like talking to my brother, because I'm trying to learn how to use Blender, but apparently like you can, like, this was done via like on, I think like the characters or whatever, the shapes are made on Blender and then imported into Real Engine, is from what I understand, which is absolutely crazy because I can make a donut on Blender and that's about it, but my donut does not look as good as that Sith armor.
Yeah. And they're using AI motion capture. Yeah, that seems to be usually the case too, is that a lot of times people develop in Blender and import it to the Unreal Engine. I gotta say the Karth sounded pretty good for the quick clip that we got.
Yeah.
Although this kid, I forgot his name already. God damn it.
Trask.
He kind of sounded a little off in comparison to the in-game character voice.
Was that Darth Brandon on the command deck? Is that his name, Darth Brandon? Who was the?
Yeah, the shot here.
Yeah, was that his name? Who was the Sith? Was it Brandon or? I'm trying to think of his name. Because there's Malak, but then he had a bunch of the Sith.
Absolutely full of distrust, that face.
Oh yeah.
But again, I think they did it just looks really good. The texture work too for the clothing, and then the actual. Jesus, the Unreal Engine is sometimes incredible for what it can pull off. For just being most part, a free software that you can toy around with.
I mean, it makes me want to learn how to do it, and
It really does sometimes. Like
Darth Bandon is
yeah.
I said Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. I meant Darth Bandon.
I mean, they definitely showed some really cool shots in this, and it's making me wonder. I mean, I'm guessing their first, because this is the teaser for their first episode.
Yeah.
So from the sounds of it, it's just gonna be taking place on the Spire, which is like, oh, that's just like such a tease almost, because like
it's only like 5 minutes worth of the game, or you know.
It can certainly be really quick depending on how you get through it.
Well, I don't know if we watched and I don't know if this has anything to do with the Malak trailer that I think I sent you back when that came out, where it's
this is the same people. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
That was kind of like their pitch,
yeah,
basically, of doing this.
And you watched that video, right?
Oh
Did
yeah.
we watch it on the show? I can't remember if we watched it.
Greatness.
Oh my goodness! Like it's like his whole jaw wallop go like, yeah, so good.
I want to say we watched it on here, but
I can't remember. But literally, if you haven't, we'll. I don't know if we can put. I think I have it. If you don't.
No, I can get to it really quick.
Yeah. Like if you haven't watched it, it's 5 minutes of just gloriousness.
Why did they have to do this? No, for your real thing, guys, cut this out.
Peace is a lie.
Damn straight.
There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power.
The fleet is in position, my lord. We have heard nothing from the planet.
Through power, I gain victory.
My lord, we are approaching the deadline and the planet is yet to surrender.
looks like Malik's using a Dijim So version.
Victory. My chains are broken.
And there goes your joke.
Oh.
The Force shall free me.
My lord.
Telos had its chance. Begin the bombardment. Destroy the planet.
Sir, Lord Revan's
That
orders
really creeps me out.
Yeah.
Today, the galaxy shall fear the Sith once more. And if Revan doesn't have the strength to make it so, request a transfer if you must, Admiral. But you will follow these orders, or you will pay the price.
Yes, Lord Malak.
Hot diggity dog.
Oh, so good.
I mean, that. I will say, like for some of it, I mean, it looks fantastic for a lot of the animations, but there are some of the people just kind of walking around that looks a little stiff sometimes, but
Yeah.
otherwise, the fight itself looked awesome. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do with the full this full series that they're wanting to put out.
Just take my money, like right now.
Right.
Like create an app, whatever you want to do.
The one
Tell
thing
me what apps is on.
The only thing I'd say is, like, for the Revan mask, I felt like for one of the close-up shots, like, I don't know, like, almost some of it needed a little more indentations done to make it look more engraved. Otherwise, though, that would have been one of my only kind of nitpicks on that.
I was gonna say like a couple more inches and his head would have just been off.
Hey there, Darth Malgus. We go for about 2 hours, sometimes a little longer, depending on how involved we get with some of this stuff. But I know you were watching us when we were playing KOTOR, which we won't be getting to tonight. Tomorrow night we will, though. That out of the way. Star Wars purists, welcome to the welcome. Thanks for watching.
Welcome.
One animated lightsaber duel greater than all of the lightsaber duels under Disney. Yes, very much so. Just watching this fight between the two of Malak and Revan was just superb, and it was kind of interesting watching this again and seeing how Malak was fighting in particular, because he was doing the whole one-handed lightsaber style.
Revan?
No, Malak.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is Revan looked like he was using like the pod, and then Malak looked like he was almost like Dijim So almost.
I mean, it definitely seemed like Malak was going the form, like you said, the Form 5 route, especially like right around here. Like I said, where he's just fighting with the one-handed lightsaber.
Yeah.
Or just fighting one-handed. He's not holding it with both hands, but he's just keeping it locked, while Revan there is keeping more of the control with the two-handed two hands.
Just begs the question: which one's more powerful? You know, Vipod, and I don't know if I've ever heard that question: Vipod or Dijim So.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he is using Vipod, because that technically was created by Mace Windu, so it's kind of a weird thing, because they sometimes bring it up in earlier contexts, but
that is true. Vipod was, however, it's very reminiscent of Vipod, I guess I should say. So, what form would it be technically then?
I don't know what Revan's preferred fighting style was. Star Wars purists, I like the reciting of the Sith code too. Same here. They did a really good job with Malak's voice, and then just as he was delivering the Sith code, it all kind of worked well together for the scenes as well, and kind of representing what he was going, that kind of journey with the Sith code. I thought that was really great. And plus, I never tire of hearing the Sith code.
No, never.
Malak looked like Malgus for a bit with his fighting. Huh. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to find... I think it's Form 2 then? I'm trying to figure out what form Revan used, because that one right there, like, for whatever reason, him fighting, it has characteristics of the pod. But to your point, Mesa's the one who created the pod. Canon, obviously, not this Disney crap.
So, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, of course, Darth Bane first Form 5. Where? Because I know that I just saw it mentioned like for Jem So. Who are some of his practitioners?
So we're saying Form 7 is technically Juyo or Vapod, but I don't know if Form 7 is just technically Vapod after Mace.
I wish I knew the creator lore of the fighting styles.
There's Form... I can see if I can pull this up. There's Form 1, which is Shicho. Form 2, Form 3. This would be a great...
Yeah, so Revan did use Form 5.
He did.
Yeah, he did use the Gemso.
Which is the
Gemso.
Yeah. The Gemso.
I just don't know about Malak.
I've heard two things. I've heard Vapod, or someone said Form 2, which is Makashi. Let me pull these up. We should do a whole show on, like, freaking...
going through each of the different form fighting styles.
I think it'd be fun, because, I mean... That begs the question, when did Form 7 come about? Because, like, here it says... Form 7 is Juyo, if I'm pronouncing it right, or Vapod.
I thought Vapod was Form 8.
Maybe I'm having my... Oh, you know, I think my Roman numerals are mixed up. Well, no, it has 7 here. That's weird. I'm not going to sleep until I figure out what form Malak was using, because it's one-handed.
I mean, it was probably just for the trailer. I don't know if they got that specific.
Well, even in like watching in the game, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You brought it on yourself.
I know I did, but that's where I want to get more familiar to where I can, like, I'm somewhat decent where I can look and like, yeah, that's definitely the Jimzo or whatever, but I want to get, like, familiar with all of them to where I'd be like, yeah, he's doing his hard. Like, Yoda is the only one, I think. Where did I hear this from? I think it was confirmed that Yoda was, like, the one, like, the only Jedi that was mastered all 7. Is that a thing? You remember hearing that?
Well, I mean, the Revenge of the Sith book, they made it kind of like they mastered particular forms to compensate for certain weaknesses.
Yeah.
So he might have known all of them, but he didn't master all of them. Yeah. But I could be wrong about that too.
He definitely had to call on the Force during his fights, because he was only like 9,000 years old, 800
and 3 feet tall.
Not 800, but yeah. Oh man, it gives me goosebumps remembering just Revenge of the Sith, the book, and how like Dooku's fighting Anakin, and Dooku's having to call on the dark side just to like get him through the fight because Anakin.
But he's
Anakin's
starting
just,
to realize it's starting to wane.
And then, like
he's losing basically the support of the dark side.
it's like, oh, are the tables turning, Dooku? And then like Anakin's just using a whole different form to like throw him off, but you don't realize it until
both. Like him and Obi-Wan start using completely different styles.
Yeah.
Throws him off for a moment.
And then he's like, oh, by the way, I hired the Tuscans to kill Shmi. Yeah, goosebumps. I give up. I give up looking at it.
Yoda used Form 4 Ataru, I think. Yeah.
Ataru, okay.
I want to say that was it.
Wait, he did use Ataru?
Yoda used whatever was certainly I want to say Ataru was it.
I feel like Yoda.
Yeah,
just used
included
whatever
Yoda
form.
and Qui-Gon Jinn. What's that? We're getting down a rabbit hole with all this.
But hey, it's fine though.
Lightsaber training for Yoda.
That's so interesting. Same Palpatine preferred Form 7, which is very, very interesting if this is true, because when Mace used Vapod and they were basically going against each other. So that did we ever discuss that? Like, I know you and I have discussed it like in person. I don't know if we ever did it on the show, but like, who did they like? Was there a potential that Mace Windu could have beat? Obviously, I'm a Sheev guy, so no. But just unbiasedly, is there the potential that Mace could have beat him because they both used Form 7, which was Mace Vapod, but Juyo Vapod, knowing how Vapod works and the whole Shatterpoint thing and all the culmination of things. Like, do you think unbiasedly that how'd that work if you're both using Vapod and you feed off the dark side?
He was using a different form. That's why it became Form 8 for Vapod, was because the way he was using that fighting style to harness in the dark side energy and then propel it back at who he is fighting. It's the same like it was, though. That was a very double-edged sword where it could just as much affect him in falling to the dark side and corrupting the fight in some way to where he might not make it out of the fight as the same person that he went in going into the fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. Just for
I'm gonna say no, just because I'm a Sheev guy, but it begs the point because, I mean, it's almost like
I look at it this way too. It's like Yoda realized he couldn't beat Sheev because of the way that Jedi had gone about. So basically, the whole tables were turned against them. I don't think there was them making it out of this in one piece.
They're just basically gonna.
I mean, it's like trying to bring it into so what if the fields were completely even? What would have happened? It's always tough playing those hypotheticals, going off of what information you do have about the characters and what they can do. I mean,
we're not gonna make our career like Star Wars theory and just throw out theories and everything, but like it's a question that I've always kind of wondered because with whole Vapod characteristics and Windu specifically, that risk of basically using the dark side. There's that fine line between using it and then giving into it. But Sheev, man, I will always say that dudes Good
Well,
luck.
That's kind of the thing. Is like
Played every one of you like a fiddle, and then
you're
some.
gonna have somebody like Mace Windu who's gonna be fighting more honorably and stuff like that, while she will be using every dirty trick in the book.
Easy.
What?
He's not dirty. Does he use every trick in the book?
She would. Yes, he would.
Oh,
he's not an honorable fighter. He's gonna use.
He's cultured. What are you talking about?
That's why he was laying there shriveled up. Oh, Anakin, they're killing me.
That's not a dirty move.
Playing
Like
possum.
Wendy would have. Oh, let's see this. Did you show all these yet?
So there. Have you guys? We
played
watched. We watched the Spire trailer before we started watching the other, the Malak, Old Republic story trailer. And then Wendy would have won against Palpatine if Anakin didn't interfere.
I don't know though. Like this is a good. I mean,
there's the possibility of it, yes, but.
So why? Knowing I'm a Sheev guy, why?
There's the thing is that she was playing it up so much and knowing that Anakin was going to be taking his side in all this, and it was just a complete out of left field for Windu. Consider he was thinking, he thought he had the shatter points all lined up and he knew where things were going, and he was potentially also a little too embraced in the dark side in that moment and think they had victory and stuff like that. He got a little arrogant, and it potentially left him for his guard down.
I don't know, just solely based off like what. So reading the Plagueis book and I mean, this guy was a master swordsman. Like I think, and you even like call, and this doesn't really help the argument per se, but you're like he carried he didn't carry the lightsaber to mock the Jedi, or carried the something about like the lightsaber and he did it to mock the Jedi. Like, I just don't know, man. I think come on, to say he plays dirty, that's besmirching his name. That's a low blow.
What are you talking about? That's exactly
playing the field.
That's exactly the bane path of being deceptive, of not...
Listen, if you're not first, you're last. I don't know if Anakin.
Yeah, Sheev didn't know about Pod.
No, but he knew form.
Certainly an edge for Windu.
No, but it says that he was Form 7 then, or whatever it is, Juyo, which I'm not familiar with Juyo, but that's at least what this article is saying. And the book doesn't the book doesn't flesh that out either. The book doesn't, I think, implicitly state what form Sheev learned or had used. But
I don't even think the Plagueis book went too deep into that.
No,
either.
I mean, it just shows like Plagueis obviously teaching them how to fight and everything. That they had their duels. But no, I think it's an interesting question. And I could see like Windu. Definitely, at least in the movie, had some type of, for a while there had some type of advantage, and Sheev's jumping around the whole room. But again, like I've heard this argument, it's like, well, how did Sheev take out 3 Jedi in 2.3 seconds?
Well, that's just it.
That's
it's
like
the other. It's where I think
you're talking
he was playing
about
possum at times. He was trying to. He was trying to work it into the right. He was manipulating the whole thing. And that's where I'm kind of like, I think Sheev did have the upper hand. He was kind of doing a bit of a cat and mouse game in order to get things lined up so he could really put the Jedi in the bad light for Anakin to see.
Yeah. So here's the question then: if Anakin did not interfere, who would have won? Because if let's say Sheev allowed, that Spartan kick to the face and threw his lightsaber out, the rotund or this, Chancellor's suite. Did he do that because he knew Anakin was going to show up, And if Anakin didn't show up, then you know what I mean? Like, who would have won?
Between
Well,
Mace and
yeah.
if Anakin didn't show up,
Yeah.
I mean, if Palpatine was under the impression that he was not going to show up whatsoever,
you think he would just ended it quickly?
It might have just been a quick fight, just like it was for those other Jedi Masters that came with Windu. I mean, look at how.
But do you think he would have taken Windu out that? Do you think?
I don't think he would have taken him out as easily. I think it probably would have been a bit of a prolonged fight, just for knowing Mace's own skills and his placement within the order itself.
Yeah.
So,
Darth Malgus, what do you think? You think if Anakin didn't show up, you think Windu would have won? I want to see what these guys think, because I don't know. I think it's also hard because I just love Sheev, but I don't know, man. It's so, he took them out so quick, and even in the book. I mean, when you remember reading the book, which that scene in the book,
faster. In the book, it seems even faster. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and that whole scene in the book is just so. It's like.
I wish we got that version.
Dang
it! I wish we got that version. It was so good.
How he records it.
Just him
so
doing
good.
the shushing motion as he flicks off the recorder. It's like, oh
my
god.
It's like just flicks it off, and it's like going into an interrogation room and shut off the camera, and then just giving.
So here's at least on the Wookiee. For Sidious, it does say, although the full extent of Sidious's mastery of each form of lightsaber combat have not been displayed, he had enough competence with the forms of Juyo, Makashi, Naman, and also apparently Shien or Sarisu to teach them to his apprentice Darth Maul. Sidious displayed considerable proficiency in applying force attacks into his lightsaber combat, so that would have been a little bit of the extra little kicker there, which can attribute to his superb skills in Naman. He also used Form 5 opening stance when up against Mace Windu, and at times displayed reasonable skills in deflecting, apparently due to his mastery of Shien. So,
I guess that answers my question then. I don't know. Still think she would have. I'd like to think she would have won regardless. But you never know.
Let's see. So, Malgus said, Windu dies, but Anakin then becomes Vader and kills Palpatine. So he jumps a little ahead of his plans.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those fun little what if sort of questions of what can go on with that fight, especially given what we were presented with.
Yeah.
Between both book and the movie. I mean, it's still basically the movie is just as much of he takes out those 3 Jedi like they were nothing.
And
even
within seconds.
Kit Fisto was trained in the same arts as Mace, so.
And he was the one that lasted out of the other 2. Like he lasted
a few seconds longer.
Like literally 1.2 seconds, 2 of them died. At 1.3 seconds, Fisto died, and then Mace is probably like, my back hurts from carrying the team. I'll just take another, just continue to fight by myself. But
right. Okay.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it?
And I don't want to. I know what you're gonna say. Can you imagine if we were doing watch parties?
Huh?
Can you imagine if we were just doing? If I made you do a watch party for all these?
I mean, it's almost kind of easier, isn't it?
Yeah. To just do a watch party. Ugh.
All right. Let's hold this. Pull this Band-Aid.
Oh, God, so stupid.
To steal from the Empire? You just walk in like you belong. They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied.
That's what I remember seeing.
Not someone like me who would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it
Oh, God.
war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting.
You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief?
What?
You're sleeping.
You a fish?
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like. I'm tired of losing.
So bad.
I mean, there's just nothing in that that really screamed out to me that this is gonna be.
There was one
really
thing.
worthwhile.
There was one thing.
Okay.
I will say this. Okay, the AK-47U. That screamed out at me.
I mean, this is what we saw in their initial teaser too. And it's
yeah,
like, guys, you couldn't do a little more to disguise the real world weaponry here.
I mean, it's literally Disney's involved on a Black Arms deal. We got a bunch of these. It's just so bad. Based off this shot alone, I do not want to watch this.
Well, and I mean, even seeing from this is like you don't really see very good shadowing also coming from the ship onto the planet at all, and I don't know, man.
Well, he's got an AK-47 or AK-47U. I apologize. Like, it's just so funny that.
She looks like she's fun.
Like,
yeah.
I don't get it. Is this supposed to take place before or after, not before? Is this supposed to? What's the timeline here? Like how
I don't
far
know
before
the exact timeline for this. I'm wondering if it's gonna like lead into
Rogue One,
or if they're gonna be trying to milk this for as much as they humanly possibly can. I don't know. I forget what they detailed for this show.
They're gonna. God, just watch them. Okay, watch them retcon Rogue One unintentionally with the episodes that they're gonna create. I guarantee you somehow they're gonna retcon their own stuff unintentionally.
Well, there's already been some articles out there that's been like, oh, what you thought you knew about the Star Wars lore won't be true anymore with this new series. It's like, oh, you guys, you freaking.
They said what? What was the article?
It was like I don't know. I don't remember what one it was, but it's just basically like they were detailing like, oh, what you thought you knew about the Star Wars lore between these two periods of time is going to be completely altered or changed, or we're explaining the truth of what is what happened, or something to that effect. And basically, they're going to be furthering, changing the narratives of the original trilogy, probably, and stuff like that. They're going to be definitely moving on to,
I just can't anymore.
Was there a shot of Braca like from Jedi Fallen Order? I have no idea who that is. Is that the pilot guy? Otherwise, I don't know. This whole show, I don't know. Like
bad on all levels. Boring. Why
this
don't
is this is just like some of it. It's like I'm not as so well versed with the original lore and stuff like that, so I feel like I'm at a disadvantage of trying to have comments about this to pick it apart, other than just kind of going at it from my own perspective. Take care, Malgus. Thanks for dropping by, man. The only thing I can say, just going into this show, is just like, just going on whether I see it as being good or not. I guess I don't know if I'm actually entertained by it. Yes, I don't think so. I don't think I will be, but
yeah, I just not excited. I wasn't like, and it wasn't just how bad Rogue One was, and then this, like, I just
part of the things I'm foreseeing is, of course, they're gonna make the stormtroopers look absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Even though this, for all intents and purposes, you need to make them look like a threat at some point.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten that. It's just like it's making almost the Empire 2 seem trivially stupid. Because again, it's like, making it so that we can just sneak into get in, and just like the, because the main view I always had of the Empire was they were, the strictest of strict. They were they had the lockdown on everything. Right. They didn't mess around. Yeah, you had maybe people that deserted later on or something like that because they saw things they didn't like, but it wasn't a whole lot of subversives getting in or whatever, trying to muck things up, other than when you had people like Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, who were the two kind of trying to organize the rebellion while also doing the whole like double agent act, basically. But other than that, it was always called, you didn't just get to just walk into Imperial bases and do as you please.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, what it looks like they're going to be doing from this trailer.
They just have made Vader just a cowering piece of just, I don't know. It's just you can. Where's my table so I can smack it? Yeah, it's just a joke at this point in time. The Empire's a joke. Vader's a joke. Vader, cowers, but gives in to Reva and Rev, whatever her name is, and it's just a joke, man. It really is. Like, and then like so stupid. Like the Empire's not stupid, and you've made them out to be just stupid.
But I mean, that
Literally.
was like the whole intro to this trailer too. You know, basically calling them fat and late. Like, really? That wasn't the image of the Empire that I had.
No.
Like they even like, I mean, yeah, you had some of the older Imperials in there that might have been, but they were old. But like everybody else from, you know, that were certainly younger, they were fit and ready for action, basically.
They commanded a certain respect and fear, and watching, gosh, I don't know, Kenobi, and just based off this trailer, like there's no fear. There's no.
I mean,
like,
you had the kind of had the Darth Vader, who was basically the right hand of Palpatine and everything. That was the enforcer, sure, but you know, you still had to have these Imperials, the officers and stuff like that commanded, like you said, commanded respect, and you know, commanded these troops to carry out whatever orders they were given out.
Yeah,
and none of them have seemed all too impressive.
No, there's no fear. There's no respect. There's nothing. It's like, oh well, yeah, we'll pick a fight with them because we know we can beat them because they're not to be respected or feared. It's just a joke, and then I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with Mon Mothma, however you say her name, Mon Mothma. I'm curious to see like what capacity she plays here.
Well, here was on Bounding into Comics. Lucasfilm releases new trailer for Andor. Creator Tony Gilroy promises show will change Star Wars canon.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah. Trent, the Walt Disney Company, Disney Plus, and Lucasfilm released a brand new trailer for their upcoming Star Wars series, Andor, as well as 3-episode premiere when the series arrives on Disney Plus. Andor follows Diego Luna's Cassian Andor before the events of Rogue One Star Wars story, where his character was killed by the Death Star on Scarif. The official synopsis states, the Andor series explores a new perspective from the Star Wars galaxy, focusing on Cassian Andor's journey to discover the difference he can make. The series brings forward the tale of the burgeoning rebellion against the Empire and how people and planets became involved. It continues. An era filled with danger, deception, and intrigue, where Cassian will embark on the path that it is destined to turn him into a rebel hero. The synopsis concludes. Luna is joined by Genevieve O'Reilly, Stellan Skarsgård, Adria Arjona, Dennis Goff, Kyle Soler, and Fiona Shaw. Probably butchered some of those names. The series is created by Tony Gilroy with Toby Hayes. Directed episodes 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10. Susanna White directed episodes 4, 5, and 6. Finally, Benjamin Caron directed episodes 7, 11, and 12. Gilroy wrote episodes. I don't care. Where's this talking about?
How many episodes is this? It's like 16.
Sounding like 12 episodes?
Oh, dear.
Speaking of Vanity, probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Speaking to Vanity Fair in May, Tony Gilroy revealed the show will alter Star Wars canon. There are certain events that happen in these 5 years that are important and need to be paid attention to. There are certain people, characters, that are legacy characters that the audience, the passionate audience, really feels that they have an understanding of and know. He detailed. In some cases, they're right. And in some cases, what we're saying is what you know, what you've been told, what's on Wikipedia, what you've been telling each other is really all wrong. He then relayed. Oh, he going for some pissing people off.
Yeah.
Gilroy then added, it's upside down, or it's sideways, or it's the opposite of what you thought was true, or it's way more interesting than you had ever thought, or that's a lie. And there's reason for it. I would say that there's some surprises in store. He then specifically referenced Mon Mothma and her role in the 4th episode of the show. I bet that when episode 104 plays, when Mon Mothma finishes the episode, that there will be people tweeting about Mon Mothma. Oh, Christ, here we go. Gilroy would further detail that the show is aimed at passionate Star Wars fans, explaining the really passionate Star Wars community. All those people have a lot of people in their lives that are Star Wars hesitant, or Star Wars adverse, or Star Wars reluctant. So who gives a crap?
What?
Let them be. If they don't want to watch, if they aren't interested, they aren't interested. This is the whole problem with a lot of this too. Is they're trying to appease, in their minds, they're trying to appease so many people to try and get as many eyes on this. When, that wasn't how things started out. It's just called Lucas was making what he wanted, what he envisioned, and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, if people liked it, great. People didn't, oh well. He at least made what he wanted to make. And that was even especially for the prequels. He made what he wanted to see on screen. That's why, when people can recognize that level of passion and
that's why these films are timeless.
Yeah. So their roommate, their husband, the guy at work, whatever. However, he also notes, I want my wife to be watching this show. She couldn't care less. She's not that interested in it. She hasn't been interested in it for the last 2 years. But my goal is that she really like it. She really is like, oh my God, I've got to see the next episode. Without losing anybody, it's really about enhancing what we have. Series will debut Wednesday, September 21st. With a 3-episode debut, as noted above, it will 12 episodes in length. I thought it was this month. I guess not. I guess I was wrong.
No, is that 3-episode debut?
Yeah, we're in for some pain, brother.
I'm on vacation. I'm going to Tahiti. Oh God, Pat Kenobi was painful enough. And that was only 2 episodes.
Star Wars purists. The show is going to be a bunch of anti-Trump rhetoric. Real people don't want real-life politics and worlds designed to be escapes. Sad. Yeah, I caught wind of some of that. And I have been seeing OG Star Wars. She's been going off on it. She posted
a tweet or a video of was it Lucas and
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Yeah, and
talking.
it's like, she's kept pointing out, it's like, yeah, he might have been inspired by certain events and stuff like that, but he was not putting the real world politics of the time or whatever into it. It was just inspired by versus based on.
Maybe Palpatine's the Viet Cong.
Well, that was the whole like Vietnam War inspired, like if I recall correct, was the whole stuff on Andor.
Yeah.
And the Ewoks and stuff with that whole the ground combat and stuff that went on. But again, it was inspired by, but not based on. It was not real world politics being inserted into Star Wars.
Right.
Star Wars was being created of its own its own world, its own politics and stuff like that. Let's see. Star Wars was among the largest franchise in history before Disney took over. Absolutely. Now they expect us to believe that we were wrong to support Lucas Star Wars and that Disney knows best. That's been basically their MO from the start. their whole, killing the past and all this sort of bullshit. They've been pushing this narrative that they are certainly the arbiters of the true Star Wars legacy and Star Wars knowledge and stuff like that. They are the ones that know best above all else, and yet they've been proven wrong time and again. But hey, don't let that stop you, because I know it won't. I've been saying that for the longest goddamn time, is that no matter how often they're proven wrong, no matter how much they get it thrown in their face that they don't know shit to a tree. They keep I can only hope that they'll keep losing money on these projects. Apparently, not even Kenobi got the viewership they were hoping for.
Well, but then they came out and I feel like they inflated their numbers, because I was reading an article that I don't know, is Iger still in charge of Disney Plus? I don't know what he exactly like. Chepik? Was it Chepik? I thought Iger was doing Disney Plus. Whatever, but they're like, I read an article where like this guy was saying that like they were inflating their numbers somehow, and the numbers that they were saying doesn't make sense because there's no way to really track on Disney Plus because it's subscription based.
No, and I think the only time they were able to get some viewership numbers was for with whatever was being propped up on either like Roku streaming devices or on Hulu.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's been too tough to tell.
Right.
Without the proper like Nielsen box style being able to know how many people are really watching this stuff and what really counts as a view, because I've heard people say that even for Netflix, just watching it for like a second counts as a view for it.
Which is so stupid, because it's like it takes you 8 seconds to click on something and for it to start. Like, it makes no sense. So that's cheap. If like, oh yeah, you clicked on it. So if they're saying 1 click equals 1 view, that's shystery.
Well, and that's the problem.
But
with these streaming services, that there's just no determined way of really getting those numbers and really knowing how many eyes are on this stuff.
I mean, that's almost as bad as
all.
Yeah, that's almost as stupid as saying like 1 scroll. Like if you scroll past something, that equals 1 view.
Right.
I mean, how do you track it? Like, it's just dumb.
Oh, I agree with you.
I just want to be divorced from Kenobi permanently. Never talk about it again. I don't know. That's going to be tough. 3 episodes. It's going to be on a Wednesday. So it'd be like 3 episodes on that Wednesday.
Sounds like it.
So it's literally going to be.
We might just do it. I don't know if I want to do it as a watch party or if I. Oh, Christ.
I think doing a watch party is the only way to go. Because if we don't do, this is what I'll tell you. If we don't do a watch party together, one of us isn't going to show up to the show. Just one of us is going to be 12 feet under. I will bury myself 12 feet under.
Oh my god.
Just think of it like this for a minute. If we don't do a watch party, are you literally going to make notes for 3 episodes?
I'd probably have them as separate. I'd probably have them as separated notes still.
Listen, I fell asleep the first 7 minutes of Bad Batch episode 1. I need somebody to keep me awake. And hands off the wheel.
Oh, God. Oh,
your call. You make the call. I'm just saying, there's no way I'm going to be able to physically... Not physically,
believe me, I'm
mentally.
God, I'm so considering this. I don't know. Especially if we're going to be still... If we're doubling up with trying to get through Bad Batch Season 1.
I mean, if we follow this like the timeline potentially will work.
Yeah, potentially.
I just don't. I don't know. I'm not for the watch party. I don't want to do the watch party, but I just don't think I'm going to be mentally able to. Do you remember watching? Did you ever watch The Dark Knight? Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, Batman Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Where he says, "I'm going to make this pencil disappear." He goes, "Ta-da!"
Yeah.
It's gone, and it goes into the dude's head.
Right.
My pen is going to be in my head. I'm going to do the magic pen disappearing trick.
To yourself.
To myself.
Yeah.
What is it? What even is that? Can we even do that? That's like 45. I mean, you already know Star Wars Theory's going to do it. He's going to probably order popcorn, pizza, chicken wings, do the whole 9 yards. But what would that be? 45 minutes times 3? If it's 40, I mean, Kenobi first episode was what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, something like that.
I'd say think about it. I think the only way to do it is the watch party, but that's just because I don't think I'm going to be... I don't know.
It might be the easier way to do it. I don't know. But trying to react on the go, that's... Oh, boy.
Well, here's the positive, right? There is
Man,
no...
let's not blow this out of proportion. Get it?
Yeah. Well played, Pierce. Well played. The benefit of doing the watch party is because this thing is going to be so boring that probably not going to elicit much reaction, unless it's just boring and so stupid. Then I guess it would elicit a reaction.
Right.
Where's Davia? So get him in here. Ask him what he wants to do, because I'm sure he's going to want to do a watch party.
I sent him the link.
What are your reservations about doing a watch party?
My only part of my reservations about the watch party is just that just being able to kind of either give my own reactions to it, having some stuff that it just I just always look at it as like it's gonna be mostly like kind of the silent hour, versus just kind of rattling off on the talking points that we have from our notes and stuff like that. So
I'm down either way.
I just see that as the kind of the disadvantage to it,
That is true.
And it's like we're the only ones seeing what's going on, and I mean, I guess I could try and do the setup a little differently to have a timer and stuff like that, so people would know, oh, we're at this point in the episode. So
I mean, we don't have to. I didn't think about that stuff about giving your own reaction. That's true.
That's just kind of where I'm coming from with it,
Well, then to your point, it is going to be a silent, however long. Man,
yeah, 3 episodes. I mean, it's
because I'm probably
going to be close to like 2 hours. Almost?
Oh, yeah, conservatively, maybe. I don't know. I mean, unless they're all. There's no way that they're going to do the first episode in 30 minutes. I would assume the first one's going to be the longest one, and that's just so stupid. I don't understand why they do it. Why do they do it with, like, I get, like, Kenobi, Star Wars Celebration, whatever, but, like, why 3? I mean, we already know that Disney is so, their timeline and their timing and their pace within episodes is impeccable. So I guess do 3, and that only leaves you 9 more to go.
It is kind of a funny way, right? It's like trying, just like they themselves are pulling the Band-Aid to try and get it over as soon as possible, but
maybe these are the first. Maybe these first 3 episodes are like the worst, and there's a lot of stuff that, to this guy's point, is like it's going to change the canon forever. Maybe that's in these 3 episodes, and they're going to do 3 because nobody wants to sit and watch 3 episodes in a setting, so there might be details that we miss. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid.
Yep.
I mean, that's the whole. I mean, you know, Netflix used. That's why like Netflix got in trouble because they would release the whole season at one time, and then Disney Plus was only doing episode by episode. To
to kind
keep
of
people
basically keep it on the same formula of like weekly television.
right instead of
Which
I'll
it's like you get some people that love it and some people that hate that idea, and they just want to be able to consume the whole series. They don't want to wait week to week. Yeah. They like that. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing, but the problem is like some people pointed out when they just dump the whole season, it's just like, yeah, people binge watch it, but then they don't talk about it beyond that. It'll have the flash in the pan, basically.
Yeah. I think X need to watch party and just do the traditional. I mean, yeah, because to your point, it's going to be very hard to give our reactions while watching. Even like I said, I don't follow Star Wars theory, but like I've watched one of his Kenobi, his watch party, and like he doesn't really. There's a lot of facial reactions, and then like he gives all of his reactions at the end, and like I don't really.
Well, that's
that.
that's the other part. Is like it's not like we're gonna be on screen too, unless we wanted to, throw on our webcams.
Right.
But yeah, you're not gonna get facial reactions out of us. It's just our
I guess if we,
here.
I will. Yeah, I said I guess if we were to do that, like to be on screen, then like our facial reactions could be just as good as like commentary.
Right.
But. Yeah, I just
probably us just falling asleep at our desks.
Literally just drooling on the desk. Just whining.
Or just being just thoroughly I could just see it just being thoroughly bored too.
He's probably the most uninteresting character in all of Disney Star Wars.
Was out of all the characters you could make a
Who's worse, Cassian Andor or Rey?
Rey. I'll say she's probably the worst character.
Okay, who's a close second? Finn. Okay, third.
No, well, the problem with Finn was that he had potential, but they just squandered his poor ass.
Yeah.
By the time the second movie already rolled around, it was like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, he probably. Yeah, that's true.
I'd probably then say Kylo Ren.
Okay, fourth.
Good second.
We skipped third. I don't know. They're all bad.
I mean, what are we equating here for actual
they all get
character arcs or just like character treatment?
No, well, character treatment. Finn got the shaft.
If we're talking about new characters, he got the shaft. If we're talking about old legacy characters, Han and Luke got the big shaft for sure.
Well, I think they all get a participation award for just dog water character.
Oh God.
Yeah, we'll just do notes because to your point, like I'm just gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna be fun for anybody.
Well, I guess we have that answer on that one.
I mean, we can still, like I said, if you have any, think about it. But that's
we have time to think about it. So if anything comes
Davi also will be like, "Oh no, we should do a watch party. I'm available."
Yeah,
He's like, I actually don't have any plans that night, so like I'll be on the show.
He won't even show up anyways.
That night he will. If we do a watch party, he'll show up, guaranteed. How much you want to bet? Bet you a Klondike bar and a liquid death that he will show up. If you tell him we're doing a watch party, he'll be like, yeah, I should be available. He'll be like, I actually don't have plans. I'll be there. Send me the link.
That's what he was saying to me today. He's like, I don't know if I got plans. I think I'll be good. I'm like, okay. I'll send you the link.
I sent him the link too, and then he's not here, so...
Oh, you sent him the link?
Yeah, I sent him the link too, yeah. And he didn't show up. He was like, oh yeah, I had late plans. Like, I really don't want to review Bad Batch 2. This is so bad. Ugh.
I was going to say, so since we're talking about TV shows, shall we move into our episode 2 review?
Oh, that's so bad, yeah. Why not? Pull up my notes. All right, you got yours?
I got mine.
Start us off, as always.
So is this basically getting us back to the crew? They're still traveling through space at that time. They find that Omega and Meathead. I'm calling him Meathead. I know he's called Wrecker, but I'm calling him Meathead. Are both tuckered out. What else, like sleep in the compartment bay or some shit like that. But they do finally come to a planet, and it seems Omega's instructors neglected to tell her basic things, like dirt. What was she even doing on Camino?
Not playing with dirt.
Clearly not playing with dirt. I get that it's a water planet and everything, but you're telling me that, she was clearly kind of acting as like a liaison or kind of an assistant to the Kaminoans, but they didn't give her teachings on basic things like dirt. I mean, I couldn't help but just use the thumbnail and have it. Dust in the wind, dude.
Yes.
I was like, okay, yeah, that lines up perfectly. Yeah, it's like this episode is seeming to be the Omega is amazed by everything episode. Meathead decides to be such and trips a booby trap after being warned they were walking into one. Seems a lot of clone troopers were looking to get out of the Empire already, or have passed through this farm. Even Captain Rex, who mentioned the inhibitor chips to them. Which I was like trying to think. I'm like, how the inhibitor chip was, I could have sworn, supposed to be pretty early on for all of these clones. So then I'm like, wait, why wasn't the now clone that defected or whatever or left? What is his name? Cut or something like that?
Cut.
Yeah. Why wasn't his activated? Why wasn't he, kicked into the whole thing?
It's a great question.
Yeah, just kind of popped into my brain. But Omega explains about them really quick, and Hunter goes to Tech about it and their previous conversations where Tech just says, "How else do you think it worked?" Yet it seems this deserter clone was part of a group unaffected or not implanted. Convenient and lucky. The Twi'lek children come bursting in to now help socialize Omega with playtime. Cut LaQuain, the clone deserter, starts asking questions about Omega and makes it plain how the Kaminoans didn't just create without a purpose, and was wondering what hers was. But no answers from Hunter, really, other than now they're all deserters and they were trying to get off Camino. Hunter and Cut head into town to book transport so Cut and his family can get off due to the coming storm that's apparently really nasty. Did I miss part of the episode where they kind of explained just how crazy that whole thing was supposed to be? Like, did they see it as they were?
Yeah.
I know they saw it when they landed, like off in the distance, but I didn't see like if they saw it like literally over the planet. It was supposed to be that bad.
I didn't see it, so I don't think you're crazy.
Excuse me. The Empire is really working fast here as they now have this chain code for registration and a transfer of currency from Republic credits to Imperial. I kind of just jokingly said, "Hey, you need to register for the DMV to drive and such, right? What's the big deal? Come on." And then Then it goes into Omega clearly doesn't listen, gets herself into trouble with a Nexu that is now stalking her for a meal. You wanna?
Yeah. Let's
Mirror
see.
notes.
So, let's see what you. Oh, okay. So I just said opening scene. Already regretting taking this child A. Salakumai. Oh joy. It's like hiss boo hiss. What's that? What's this bright light? They must not have fresh air on Camino. Just like a kid in a candy store. Who could? I was like, who could this deserter be? I wonder. Big dumb brute, tripping the booby trap. Oh, good old Rex, or is it Rex? I don't know.
Yeah, they were mentioning Rex.
No. I said, can we stop with his inhibitor? Like, so I was like, I just can't. I was like, can we stop with his inhibitor?
They're not gonna get away from it. That was Filoni's little invention, so they're gonna
100%.
that shit around.
I was like, the notes I wrote was like, can we stop with this inhibitor chip? And no, they didn't. It was a law. So stupid. I put Uncle Wrecker, how sweet. Kids will be kids. Ew, balls. Hunter and Deserter discussing no place is safe. Oh, chain codes, cool. The spokesperson for the Empire looks like he belongs in a GQ magazine. I do what I want. Don't tell my mom. Oh, wait. And then I was like, please get her, please get her, please get her. My ball. And then I'll end it with this one. I said, Hunter, that's not very dad-like, but you didn't. Never mind. I was trying to have fun. It was so hard. I was trying to just have fun with it because it's just so stupid. And then I don't know if I've jumped ahead, but I'll go like two more. I just said the clones need those good old chain codes. I'll stop there.
Yeah, they. So in between that of her getting attacked by the Nexu or starting to, they're discussing the chain codes and need to get off planet, but worry of discovering Cut is a deserter. Now everyone is having to rush out because Omega doesn't listen, and they have to now take down the Nexu. And I found it funny, though found it funny that the kids only call for mom and not mom and dad. Did you catch that at all, or just me?
Yeah, no. That makes sense.
And then Cut is certainly acting more the maternal role, that's for sure. Hunter asks Tech if he can whip up some chain codes for Cut and his family. And even though he just learned of it, says yes he can. Because why the hell not? I mean, I know he's a tech wizard and everything, but Jesus, really? These
not hard at all.
I mean, this just goes to show just like how further incompetent the Empire is that they can't keep security locked down without a little more tough break-in.
Yeah. Again, not to be feared.
Okay, I guess early Empire might not be as secure. Although you'd think they'd be on hyper guard, but whatever. Hunter tries to pawn Omega off on Cut and Sue, and they, of course, ask him if that's what he really wants. And we all know, no, it's not, because then we probably wouldn't have this show.
True.
Tech's big idea to get the chain codes is to get their ship impounded so they can break into the network. But didn't realize that Omega was still on the ship. So now, not such a simple plan as he thought. And after getting in, Omega asked how she can help till she was told by Echo she's done enough. That only means she'll probably And I was wrong here. She didn't really show him up or prove super duper useful, other than being able to maybe just kind of be convenient. So I was wrong with my little notes there. Echo working fast and quiet, getting in and stealing what they need for this job, and Tech gets quickly to it, it seems. They weren't wasting time, at least. Now the rest of them have headed into town and seeing all the Stormies keeping watch. Omega decided to act on her own and took the discs to now break out from the impound lot. Tech and Echo cause a distraction for Omega to get out. And she does almost get caught by a droid until Meathead comes along and smashes the droid. Meathead then easily knocks out some guards, because of course. Omega makes it before Cut loses his nerve. He was starting to freak out a little bit. For a guy that was a former soldier, he certainly can't keep his shit together. Hunter breaks it to Omega that she needs to go with Cut and Sue. You want to fire some off?
Yeah. I think you have more than I do. Leave off. I said, here comes the waterworks. Non-father Hunter wants to put up Omega for adoption. Question mark, question mark. I said, what kind of plan is this? As thorough as a cavity search I said, this is as thorough, typo. I says, as thorough as a cavity search. A rip on A New Hope, question mark. Specifically referencing them searching their whatever they call it, class.
I guess I missed that.
Where they're searching the ship. Yeah, they're on the ship after it gets impounded, and they're searching the ship, and then they come out of one of the compartments.
Oh.
Yeah, saw that one. And I said, scroll down to Tech doing techie things, and then I was like, you won't. Well, I was trying to be funny, but I was like, you won't find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy when they get to the spaceport. And then I want a Jenko now. ... And then I'll end with, that's not suspicious in the slightest. I'm trying to get the, they called it a boot, which is just so, I guess we'll just call it a boot. Off the ship. The ship, they had the boot on the wheel.
Oh, right.
And then I was just trying to fly through notes, so I'll end there and I'll let you go on, and then I'll wrap up, because I only got like 15 more.
Yeah. So it's I had down, some more lingering looks from Omega as she makes up her mind. Meanwhile, Hunter gets back to the fight to help the rest of the squad to get out of the impound. And man, there was a lot of guards originally, but Hunter was just able to make a clean sweep in. No problem at all. Omega, of course, makes it back to the Bad Batch crew, almost getting herself nabbed by a stormtrooper, but they do make it off planet. And it's cemented, Omega is, sadly, here to stay. But looks like I was wrong. Instead of her doing the old showing them up, they just did another typical trope of the kid maybe being pawned off only to be made part of the group anyway. And that's the end of my notes.
Oh, okay. Well, I should have gone because I didn't have that many. I said always count on record to wreck something. I said what a move, 3 for 1. You don't need to see his identification. Omega off with her new family. Oh joy, that worked. And then I was like, how strong is this guy? Oh, that's strong when he rips off the boot.
Yeah.
Omega didn't want to be adopted by Cut. You look like Carry On. Really? Like, it took you that long to like realize like that's so stupid. Like, oh, you look like dude, he's literally you. Like, do you not know what you look like?
Apparently.
Stupid. I was like, and they're off. I said, gotta love the gonk droid. What a touching ending. Puke. That's all I had.
Yeah, like it felt very kind of fillery.
Very
to me.
fillery.
Definitely wasn't like really moving things along. Other than, like I said, it cemented that she's gonna be staying part of the group.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that was about it. And again, bringing in more characters Filoni used in the Clone Wars with the little family. So, I mean, I had to take a moment. I was like, wait a minute, I remember these people. I had to kind of go back and look it back up. I'm like, oh yeah. But I didn't know the Bad Batch had any connection to these people.
I didn't. I mean, when I watched Clone War, unless it was in a season I missed watching, I didn't.
They were in an episode of the Clone Wars, but they only interacted with, I think, Rex.
Yeah.
It was way before the Bad Batch were even introduced to the series.
I think there was an episode where Rex was involved with a deserter. Was that deserter? Okay, sorry, maybe we're thinking about the same episode. Was that cut in that episode with Rex, the deserter? Was that him?
Possibly, if it set up like this with the family and stuff. Yeah,
I think so. But it just seemed very fillery, and I think it could have just. I don't necessarily think it did anything to progress the story really, other than showing you that Omega just doesn't want to be with anybody other than Hunter, which is kind of weird. And
she also seems to have a problem with listening.
I may be just really stupid. Okay, I'm going to preface that by saying, like, I probably not the smartest crown in the pencil sharpener. Boba Fett was a male, right?
Jango Fett was a male too, yeah.
Jango Fett was a male. Boba was a male. Every other clone was a male, right?
Right.
How the hell is she a female?
She's not. She can't be a clone. She's definitely. I mean, this is all supposed to be tying into the whole.
We're not
them doing gene modifications, but it's like they basically now just tried to create a whole new person. But it's also called how.
Is she?
It can't be a clone of Jango.
Yeah, like I'm not a geneticist.
Clone is a duplicate of the original person, basically.
Yeah.
Certainly in looks and stuff. The mind and everything can be a whole different.
I'm just saying, like, if Jango was in fact a woman, he's not a very pretty woman. Again, I'm not here to get into any political debate. I'm just asking, like, A plus B equals C. How can you take Jango and you clone Jango and you give me a female named like I don't.
Yeah,
where
that means
in the
you're
map
definitely crossing some weird wires there. That's for sure.
Is this like, did Jango actually have a wife and then they went to Venice and had a baby, and like that's Omega?
And for what we know of the Kaminoans cloning, I mean, they basically go off of genetics, so they're doing a direct genetic link.
Right. Jango has all the characteristics of a male.
Yeah.
So unless he was drinking a bunch of soy milk and had a bunch of estrogen in his lattes. Yeah, this just really bothered me.
They had to do a lot of gene modification. It's not even like using as wonky as Metal Gear Solid for their description of the whole cloning project Les Enfants Terribles, where they were using a female egg and stuff like that, and we're trying to replicate through using Big Boss's basically sperm. That project at least leaves the potential for some anomalies to potentially shine through, While this is just, like I say, it's straight up using the genetics. It's using the blood, the DNA. So they had to, like I said, they had to essentially like create a new person just to make it a female version of all of them.
So she can't even really be considered a clone then. Therefore, and even
Not at
like
that
the
point,
last
no.
clone. Because to be a clone by definition, then you would have to be the same as your cloner, your cloner. It just bothered me. I didn't say anything the first, last
it just doesn't. It just
episode.
doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's just so stupid. So like, why? What does it do? Like, it makes no sense, and it's like just kind of ludicrous. Like to say you're a clone and you're the last clone. Well, you're not a clone because you're not a male, because Jango was a male and you were cloned off Jango. So you're not a clone. But you could, I guess, be the child of Jango if Jango had relations with a female, because that's the only way you can get pregnant is when a male and a female like each other. For the kids that are listening, that's Biology 101.
They make the hanky-panky and they get a kid.
And then hands clap, and then there you are. Stupid. I mean, could have done without this episode.
I don't know. You've seen this whole season 1. Do they ever explain about Omega or no?
Not
to the
I
best
don't
of your
remember,
knowledge.
No. They continue to call her a clone, which she's not a clone.
No.
Again, yeah.
She's a genetic anomaly, basically.
That's not a subjective comment. That is an objective truth. Stupid. Yeah. I don't even know how to even. And my scale is so jacked up. It's like Dave Portnoy's One Bite, Everybody Knows the Rules. He was doing all these pizza reviews, and then COVID hit, and then he switched to frozen pizzas reviews, and the frozen pizzas just totally screwed up his whole scale, along with getting COVID. And now, and I was trying to get his scale back, and it's like my whole scale has been just destroyed because we did Book of Mando, and then we did the Mandalorian. Well, we did Book of Mando, Mandalorian, and then we jumped to Kenobi, and now we're doing this, and like Kenobi has just screwed up my whole taste bud scale. So like I don't even know what to scale it.
At this point, neither do I. I'm kind of
like this episode is just so it's like apparently you've never seen plants before, you've never seen dirt, or you don't know what dirt is, I should say.
like the dirt thing really threw me off. Like I can kind of understand seeing a brand new planet and stuff like that. Okay, I can understand a bit of the ooh and ah. But
ooh, what is this butterfly?
The overexcitement over dirt was just kind of like, okay, it's kind of weird.
It's literally, you had just as much excitement as Jack Sparrow did when he had his jar of dirt in front of Davy Jones. I referenced that the other day. I was like, I got a jar of dirt. I have a jar of dirt. It's like, literally, it's dirt.
Yep.
But again, the argument is like, well, she lives on a water planet, and water doesn't have dirt. Or water planets don't have dirt.
It's like, again, what do they do for teaching her and stuff? They had to have given her the flash teaching or whatever they call it. She had to have some sort of education or something, right?
Around combat, apparently, but we've seen how stellar she is with hand-to-hand combat.
It's just a little kid, so.
Listen, it doesn't matter because you remember the last of the Jedi books. Boba in that book was 14, and he was given Obi-Wan to run for God, what is the name?
He was in the Slave One ship though. He was giving him a run for his money.
No, he was out. No, he was out of the ship. They were. There's a part at the end of the first book. Yeah, was it the end of the first book or the beginning of the second where they're trying to get off planet, and Boba's like going back and forth, tracking them, and Obi-Wan's like, my goodness, he's like a little Jackrabbit Terrier or a little Jack Russell Terrier.
I guess I missed that part.
Oh, you need to go back.
I thought I read through it.
No, yeah, they
overlooked
specifically
it.
were, yeah, Boba, and he's with somebody else. But yeah, he's like 14 or he's in, yeah, it's like, he might be a little bit older. He's not much older than that, I think. So, she's no Boba, that's for sure. I mean, this game, and then like Boba himself is like basically talking back to Malorum. I'm like, yeah, talk back to him.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this episode, other than like the jar of dirt and then the just?
Well, the goofiness of the jar of dirt. Overall, though, I was just kind of like, it's kind of, some of it was just kind of typical stuff. Like I said, the whole thing of, oh, we got to get rid of the kid to give her off to whatever XYZ reason, but they really just want to be the big family. Oh,
yeah.
For somebody that's apparently supposed to be like, I guess, super smart for Omega, she certainly has a problem with listening.
Yeah.
Especially when told no, just come in, don't go outside of the fence. So it was like some of it was just kind of unnecessary little drama or little bits just to kind of throw in there. Like I said, Cut was kind of seeming more the feminine than his Twi'lek wife.
He was, wasn't he?
And like I said, the kids shouting for mom and not dad. I mean, he's been there for quite some time at this point. You haven't accepted him as part of the family unit and also somebody to be the defender of the household.
Well, I didn't.
Again,
I didn't know if they established whether or not they were his kids or
Clone
not.
Warriors. No,
Right.
I thought they were. I thought I remember reading that they were, but then I looked at the pages and they're adopted. So
Interesting.
But regardless, it's like, you know, like I said, considering how long he's already been with that family, it just kind of struck me as a bit odd that they were running to just mom and dad at least.
Yeah. I don't know where he learned his parenting skills because Django wasn't a very good dad.
He was just in his own way.
He's very aggressive.
Otherwise, the plan seemed overly kind of convoluted for them breaking in and stuff, and it's like, okay. Yeah,
You said something interesting.
It was just all set up for. Like I said, oh, now she's 100% part of the group.
Yeah,
Sorry,
wait until this next episode. You're really going to enjoy it. I'm probably going to watch it tonight and just do notes so I don't have to do it later in the week.
Oh, lovely.
It's not great. Let's pull it up. I forget what the episode name is, but I remember it very, very well. Onion, you'll love Cad Bane.
In the next episode?
No, it's not the next episode, but what is the next episode called? Replacements.
So we're going back to what's his face? Crap, I forgot his name. Sniper.
Crosshair.
Crosshair, thank you.
No.
They're stuck on a desolate moon.
I think it's this one, but I can't remember.
Oop, damn it, I accidentally closed it. That was kind of like the only synopsis that came was they're stuck on a
Yeah. It's really great.
desolate moon. Is this just gonna be more filler or something? What the hell? Desolate moon.
Soldiers turn mercenaries. Soldiers turn. I don't know how to say it without giving it away, but yeah. Soldiers for Hire. I guess that's technically what Mercenaries would be. I think it's this episode. They don't have trailers, do they?
Looks like we're gonna have Tarkin back. Bunch of droids. At least looking at the cast, what characters they're playing, it's like I'm seeing a bunch of droids and fighter number 2. Ordo Moon Dragon. Refugees. Vice Admiral Rampart.
See if there's a trailer for it, because I'm trying to jog my memory. Nah, crap. Whatever. Yeah, it's either this one or the next one, but just buckle up. It's great.
Oh boy, can't wait. Can't freaking wait, man.
Like, oh, neat. Oh, so they just have a season 2 trailer. That's all it has. That's neat. Yeah. It's great. So pumped. Replacements is the next one, I believe.
Well, this time I will try and actually watch it and get it out of the way sooner.
I did. Oh man, I did it Thursday, and then I was like, I can't do it. I hate my life. And then I tried Friday or last night. I tried. I was like, I can't. It's not happening. That I did this morning. So I'll probably I'll watch it sooner rather than later, because this one's probably I mean, they're all. Yeah. They're all great going forward. They're super neat.
So you say.
I don't remember. Yeah. I can't remember this one. We'll have to ask Davi also. Because we were even, I think, talking last year, it was either this one or the next. This one or Concerned are like really bad. Really not great. I just think
it wasn't even
really
like this episode was bad. It was just like kind of
unneeded.
Yeah, it was just kind of unnecessary. Like I said, it just only moved a few things along. It could have been done in maybe a better way. I don't know. But I guess without having a real suggestion, I can't really say.
Yeah.
Other than it just didn't feel like much of an episode.
Well, we've got through the pain.
We did
of this, but
indeedly do.
There's hope on the horizon, because tomorrow we should still be on for.
Yeah, we'll have Sutor to play at 5:30.
Distress and Detox.
Yeah.
And hopefully shock more people.
Hopefully Davioso will be joining us. Maybe not. I don't know. He said he still hadn't gotten off of Hudda to join us.
He's not on Hudda?
He's not. He's not off Hudda.
So he can't play with us until he gets off Hudda.
We could go to Hudda and get him through the quest line, get him off. But I'm like,
I'd holiday on Hudda. We should go to Hudda. Yeah.
Oh, you're ready for an ass planet.
Is it bad?
Well, it's just like it is. It's the planet of the Hutts, so it's very it's just very it's a very toxic environment.
Well, I mean, if it's so, is it not as good as Nar Shaddaa?
I mean, I would rather be on Nar Shaddaa than on Hudda, I think.
Oh, it was that bad then.
I think. Well, I mean, at least there's still some natural environment to Hudda versus Nar Shaddaa.
Is it just bad?
No, it's like I said. It is just very much like a literal like toxic cesspool of like of factories and sludge and swamp and stuff like that. there's when you do the missions on there, and unfortunately, you have to be either bounty hunter or the Imperial agent to do those quest lines. Like I couldn't do the quest lines with you guys on Korriban.
Right.
But there are some missions on there that are kind of entertaining and fun to do. But when you can't do them, it kind of sucks when you're just kind of waiting.
So with us being
like
you're Imperial agent.
You and my brother wouldn't be able to like do some of the side missions and stuff like that. But you'd be able to see. We would be able to watch if we do this with Daviaso. We'd be able to see his storyline for the most part. So you'd kind of get a glimpse into the bounty hunter's story starting out and stuff.
Well, then I mean, we could always if he gets on, then we could probably do it and get him off.
Yeah, we could probably get him. We'll get him off of the planet as soon as possible. Because I'm just really now looking forward to us doing the first flashpoint to getting us to Drummond Koss.
Yeah.
That's at least for a point where it'll be all of us included in the scene, and we'll all be making our different choices and stuff like that, and seeing who gets picked to move the story along and stuff like that. So
let's plan on that. Let's get a hold of him and be like, dude, you better show up.
Yeah, start sending him texts. Let's start harassing him. Hopefully he'll be caught up by tomorrow. And if he doesn't show up, then it'll just be the three of us. We'll do what we did last time, and we'll get to do the Black Talon flashpoint. It'll be fun.
Just as long as do I get a vehicle now that I'm only level 10?
Yeah.
Dude, so pumped. Right. Well, we'll plan on tomorrow.
We'll be doing that tomorrow. And for everybody else out there, I'll be posting this where I post it for audio and video on Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. And then audio-wise, it's on the RSS feed. And, of course, I get it to Apple iTunes and all that jazz. Also the Freak. Android, Google Place. Yeah.
Place.
So it's out there if you want to listen. But otherwise, please watch here on YouTube or on Twitch when we stream. And then tomorrow, for sure, 5 p.m. General Mountain Time, we'll be doing our Twitch streams of Star Wars The Old Republic. Continuing our character. Yeah, on my channel and on Jay Hitman's channel. Come check us out. And with that, I will say a good night.
Have a good night. So pumped.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude.